Hello and good day, everyone. I hope the video finds everyone having a great day. Today we're going to take the Predator 5000 generator out to the toy hauler, and we're going to run the entire toy hauler. That includes a television, lights, air conditioning, a refrigerator, as well as charging a telephone and a tablet. I'm pretty confident that it will not be exceeding the 5,000 running watts of the generator. So we should have no problem running everything that we need to today. And let's get out there and see what happens. All right, so we're going to make an attempt to go ahead and plug in the trailer here. This is one of the solar generators that I have. It is the EcoFlow Max. It puts out about 2,500 watts. I have the Jackery. This one puts out 500 watts. And it's on eco mode. Let's take it off eco. Still sputtering a little bit. It is high octane gas. I did put in the stable. It's not running low. So the refrigerator is running. AC on high. Inside the house now, with the sliding door shut. The generator is like right outside over here, and it seems to be fairly quiet in here. So I switched it back on to eco mode, and revved up for a second there, sort of mellowed itself out. But as you can plainly see, it seems to be running and doing just fine. So we're going in 10 minutes now. Air conditioning on high. Lights. Refrigerator. I have the refrigerator set at about 32 degrees. TV is running. And I'll try and add a phone being charged as well. So we'll do that next. Okay, so we have a phone and a tablet. The refrigerator, lights, air conditioning on high, on full cool, TV. All right, so we've had it running now for about 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. I'm charging a tablet, charging a phone. I've got the refrigerator running, the lights, television, and it seems to have no problem running all these things. And Predator 5000 is doing an excellent job. It's very quiet, efficient, and just an overall good product so far. Haven't had any problems, and everything seems to be going good. Seems to be running a lot smoother. don't know why it was running like that, but it seems to be running a lot better. Okay, so the manual choke override is obviously you taking your finger and switching it on or off yourself. It automatically goes back to the start position when you turn it off, and then after you start it and it warms up, the choke goes back to run. Now, I don't know if it went back to run. I'm not sure exactly why it was running intermittently like that. So I'm waiting for it to cool down, and then I'm going to start it again as it's cool. Or I might just wait till tomorrow. And then I just want to see what was causing it to run like that. And then also you have this drain screw to drain the bowl of the carburetor. And then on the front here, you have this fuel shutoff. I'm guessing, well, okay, so you have propane on this side and gasoline on this side, and then in the middle it says off to store for storage. So when you turn it off, it must be like turning the fuel off on a motorcycle. And like the dirt bikes, what I usually do is when I go to turn off the dirt bike, I will turn the gas off and then run the fuel out of the carburetor when I am storing the bike or letting it sit for more than a week. Because the fuel in these small carburetors, a lot of the fuel is very bad and it has ethanol and all this other stuff in it. I use Chevron Super Unleaded, which is supposed to help mitigate that, and I also use Stable in the gas to keep it from getting to build, the buildup in the carburetor. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch this to the off position here for storage, and then I'm going to run the generator and see if that turns the gas off, and then it finally dies. So here we go. And I'm also noticing this overload light comes on. Okay, so it just came on again. I don't know why it would say overload when I don't have anything plugged into it. So we have the switch right here off. So I'm going to see if it runs out of fuel. And then just to check it, I'm going to unscrew the fuel drain on the bowl to see if all the fuel had run out of it. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's sputtering now. I'm assuming it's running out of fuel. So I'm going to turn it off now. And then I'm going to drain the bowl now and see how much fuel comes out of there. See, the fuel is coming out. Okay, so looks like it drained the rest of the fuel out of the bowl here. So I'm assuming once I try to start it again, it is not going to start. Okay, seems normal. All right. Okay. All right. So that seems like the best bet to keep the carburetor from having problems with getting gummed up. Like I said, most of these small carburetors will end up getting, having problems with most of the fuel, even supposedly good fuel. Like I said, run my cars, dirt bikes, and anything that requires fuel. I run my stuff from Chevron fuel, and I guess Shell and 76 is maybe the other fuels that are good. I guess Mobil might be good as well, but Chevron has always been what I've run in all my equipment and machines. So anyways, that's just my personal preference. You guys can do whatever you want. I think that, just my opinion, avoiding all the fuel from like Arco or all these very cheap places, there's a reason why it's cheap. So anyways, hope you guys are having a great day, and thanks for watching the video. All right, so I just wanted to do a little recap on a couple of key points of interest as far as running the generator. I suggest using high octane fuel, and I suggest using stable. Let me get some so you can look at it. It's like a fuel additive, and essentially you use this to stabilize the fuel so you can have it for up to a year without having any problems. I know people that have had this in the fuel and kept it for years. So that being said, I use high octane fuel as well as the stable in the fuel. Also, running the fuel out of the carburetor, it's always the best idea. And if you don't, or if you're not able to run it out of the carburetor for one reason or the other, which you should be able to, just turn the gas off and then run the engine until it turns off. To run that fuel out of the carburetor in order for the carburetor to stay free of buildup and gunk. A majority of the fuel that they use, they put ethanol in it. It's like a preservative, and it helps the gas to be able to stay longer in the tank. And it ends up in a fuel situation building up in the carburetor and causing you to have clogged jets and stuff like that if you leave that fuel inside of the carburetor for usually more than a month or up to 3 months. But so that's why it's a good idea to use quality fuel. Like I said, I use fuel from Chevron. I've always trusted their fuel, and I've always had good results. And as well, use super unleaded, high octane fuel. If you can afford it, use VP fuel. I forget what it is, probably like, I don't know, 10 or maybe even $20 a gallon. But that fuel is guaranteed not to build up in the carburetor. And that's why a lot of people end up using that fuel, especially if they can afford it, in order to avoid complications with clogging the carburetors. So obviously for like the lawnmower and the weed eater and the blower, I will use the high octane still, and I will put the stable in the fuel. I run all the dirt bikes with the stable in the fuel and high octane fuel as well, and it really helps to have an overall longevity for your carburetors without having to clean them. Draining the rest with that little screw right out of the carburetor. It seems to be an easy way to do it instead of just running it until it runs out of fuel. So anyways, love you guys.